the beat that make you say.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Revival Podcast. We're super excited to have Ben, my little bro, back in here.
Yeah.
I know we all wanted a part 2 from Ben.
Thank
He
you.
said he had more to share, so we're excited to have you down here. Yeah, now the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Before jumping in, big shout out to actually Ben and the entire Kaysville office for 2-time returning champions to the Turf Wars now.
Yes.
Man, that was freaking close. The whole last week, it was just neck and neck by a couple percentage points. So
Yeah.
that was crazy. So what were the finalized scores actually?
I think we won by like a point.
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty close.
Pretty crazy.
I was stressing.
Orem, I was thinking you guys were maybe gonna take the pass in the last weeks. Kaysville didn't return and take it again, but Kaysville got it again, man. That's awesome. So someone will have to come take it from you guys next year.
No, my vision is next year for it to not be won by Kaysville, but for it to be won by a team in my downline that is facing Kaysville.
Okay, Kaysville versus
Yes, and I hope that one.
Ben's downline versus Ben's downline.
Yes, that's my goal.
That's my goal. It's like freaking Maple Mountain in wrestling. State champion.
So,
Maple Mountain versus Maple Mountain every single round.
that's the goal.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, and you had a couple shout outs?
Well, just in general, I think it was cool to see how Turf Wars actually rallied the team together in a cool way where people weren't planning on working on Friday because it's Halloween. Like a lot of people had planned that as their flex day, but when we saw how close it wasn't like a let's see if we still win with Saturday. It was like we got to make it happen. Yeah. So we had setters out there Friday, we had setters out there Saturday, all the way till like 5:30 just setting because we didn't know.
Dude,
so we just kept going.
That's awesome.
And so it's cool. So I would give a shout out to the setters and closers out up there that were just really committed to making it happen.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to say thank you for anyone that came out and joined us for the Revival one. The Revival run. I don't have a list, actually. That was a lot of fun. Get excited for this month as the Revival Gives Back initiative. We're pushing that out and finding ways to give back to the community. We can provide some free windows for some people this Christmas.
Yeah, it would be sweet.
Okay. All right, well, let's dive in. Last time, so we kind of went through, you and James talked about your history in pest control, went through a lot of the ups and downs and lessons that you learned there, talked about your transition into Windows, how it started off really slow. Anyone that hasn't watched the last episode of the Ben, definitely go give that a watch. So many golden nuggets in there. And then finish through with like how you saw a lot of success here at Revival. But you said you had more to share, and I wanted to kind of jump in and finish out your timeline here up to present date, because you've done some really cool things up in the Kaysville office while managing the office. Honestly, like most of the reps that come out of there that I talk to, they're all like, Ben is just the best manager, the best leader I've ever had. They all say the same thing. So I think everyone out there would appreciate to hear, what is it that they're talking about? What is that dimension? And that's a vague question. So I think I'm going to narrow that down a little bit for you. So I'm going to ask, what are a few specific things that you do on a one-on-one level with your reps that you feel like really keeps them loyal to your office and to Revival?
That's a good question. Before I answer, if anyone's wondering, we are brothers.
Yes, we are brothers. You can't see the resemblance.
You already said little bro. But I just thought I'd point that out because some people don't know. But so
who was that back in the day that didn't know forever? Well, Christian Brock.
Yes. So yeah, that was hilarious. One day we come into the office. This is when we were both down in Orem.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, we're literally in the same office together.
We have the same last name.
Same last name.
It's on the board.
He's been there for like 2 months, and he's like, guys, guess what I found out? By the way, if you're watching this, Christian Brock, we freaking love you. We
Dude.
want you back.
Please come back.
Yes. He's like, guys, did you guys know Ben and Landon are brothers? And everyone's like, bro, of course they're brothers. They have the same last name. They look the same. So anyway, we are brothers. And growing up, people would ask all the time, are you guys twins? I stopped growing at 5'8", though, so.
We don't have to get that question anymore.
Don't get that question anymore. No, but so this is actually a really good question because, and I'm going to go back to beginning of when I started actually managing up in, we started in Layton. And I honestly look back and those were like, if I were to describe that time in one word, I would say gray.
I was going to say dark.
Yeah.
Those were dark times.
Dark times, dude. It's like,
that was a rough start.
It's rough. And honestly, anybody that has started an office, it doesn't matter what setup you had. I had great support like I did. And I good at closing. I was good at setting. I had some really awesome setters up there. I had some really good closers up there with me. Like I had everything in my court, but there's just so much that you don't know. When you go in, you just don't know what you don't know. And uncovering all of that is like, it's pretty heavy because you'll make a lot of mistakes and it hurts.
Yeah.
So we may get into some specific mistakes I made. Actually, for sure. We for sure will get into those. But I want to answer your question first. And what I do on a one-on-one basis, I'd say no, actually, I'm not going to go in there yet. Let me just paint the story.
Yeah, I actually want to go.
Let's start.
You started talking about that. I actually want to dive into some of those mistakes that you made early on, because I think those are so super important lessons that you learned that you are not doing anymore, or when they pop up, like you're able to execute quickly and nip it in the bud, and like that's why your team does really well.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, walk us through the journey of when you started being a market owner to now, some of those lessons that you learned.
Holy cow, my mind is exploding. Okay. So let's start here. When I started the market, we had just moved into our new house. When I say new, it's like 35 years old. New to us. And like my feeling was like, I just want to be like way more balanced in my life. That's what I was feeling. Like I wanted to get into a good flow where I was home regularly for bedtime. I was not on the doors regularly knocking, where I was more just leading and having people go out on the doors, and me being their trainer, their mentor, all the things that are good. And that, I don't think that's a bad vision. It wasn't. It actually is still my vision to some extent. But I think a lot of people in sales have this false perception of freedom of, I'm going to grind right now so that I can stop grinding and then kind of coast. Like, I think a lot of people feel that. Like, I want to get to a place where I don't have.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
That's what I had when I started. I was like, I'm going to build this up and it's going to be so good and it's going to run and it's going to be awesome. And so when I would start tasting a little bit of that, like I had my guys doing okay, then I would pull back too fast into a place of like, I'm okay, I don't need to be there. And then every time I did that, it would plummet. The momentum would just die. And so what that did to me is it actually was, it emotionally impacted me so basically it got to the point where I created a self-limiting belief that if I am not actively involved in every aspect of the branch running and operating, we can't do well. And if you want to grow anything, that's a terrible limiting belief. It's not possible.
No, it's not.
You cannot manage properly trying to be involved in everything. So that was one mistake that I made was having like my expectations and reality just were not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And so my expectations of what I could do in a certain amount of time were just off.
So what should have your expectations been going in as a brand new market owner?
Yeah.
For everyone out there aspiring to be a market owner, what should that look like?
Yeah, I think the expectation should honestly be, I will build out like I'm in it until I have people that like I've seen, like proven that they can do what I can do or better. And once I see that, then I can kind of go to the next step of handing off pieces of what I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're talking about more like, for example, you felt like if you were not knocking on the door, you were the pillar rep.
I
You were
was
the leader.
Yes.
And so every time you stepped off, production just dove down, right?
Yep.
And so you're saying once you have reps, you feel like, yeah, these are solid pillar reps that I can trust. They go out there and they're going to do their thing and the team's going to follow because they're rallying behind this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can step off of the doors.
Correct. Yeah. The other thing though is I don't think that's just going to happen naturally. The mistake that I made was assuming that people would just do that without me really communicating that so clearly.
Like, this is your role.
This is your role. And so I recently done that in a way that has helped. We just had a pretty dang good month. It was like we ended at like 630, which is one of our best months up in Kaysville. And I was like not knocking very frequently because I was able to communicate to the reps, like certain reps, like you are my leaders on the doors. And if I step away, I need you to continue to lead.
Right.
And it worked that way. It worked. Yeah.
That is really cool.
So I'd say that's one mistake. The second, dang, I don't actually know.
Well, I know a big one that you can talk about because I remember going through this and for a long time we were like holding on. We were worried about like getting like offboarding some reps that were just kind of
100%.
pulling the team down.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. The other thing is scarcity mindset around people. And anybody listening, this does not mean that I view you just as numbers and I'm like, we can replace you anytime. Like, that's not what I mean. But it's like, in reality, there are so many people in our networks that we can fill an office with to help knock doors. Like, that's for sure. But I also had a limiting belief around my ability to attract the right people into my office. And so I was like, I needed to hold on to anybody that was there, even if they're not doing anything. Like they're hurting the office.
Yeah. That's a scary spot to be in.
Yeah. I was like, if I let them go, then I'll only have 5 guys. Well, 5 guys is better than 6 guys with one of them being terrible.
Yeah.
So that was a big mistake that I made, is recognizing what are my expectations for somebody and holding those expectations really, really strongly with them, saying, if you're not hitting these expectations like consistently, if you don't want to work, why are you here?
Yeah.
And being okay, like spotting that quickly and saying, I think if this isn't, like, if you can't get yourself to just do the job, I don't think this is not the job for you. And being okay having that conversation in a way that helps them recognize it's probably not the best fit for them.
Yeah.
Like fast though, instead of hurting them by keeping them here for 3 months when it's not.
So how fast is fast for you from the time you onboard a rep to the time where you have that conversation and say, hey, I don't think this is going to be a good fit for you if they are not meeting the criteria that you set forth for your team?
I would say I would have an initial conversation with them by week 2 or 3. If they're like, if week 1 and 2 they were not doing anything hardly, I would for sure have that conversation 2 weeks in. Like, it's just, you want to catch it early.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I remember you had a handful of reps on the team, honestly, a pretty big handful.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were holding on to them tight. And even from the top level, me, James, were like, man, I don't know if we want to let those guys go. But once we did end up getting rid of them, the team like exponentially grew in size, but also in revenue, and the whole like vibe of the Kaysville office was totally different.
Yeah.
It's like you don't realize how toxic someone is on a team until they're not there again, or until they're not there.
Yeah.
So that is a really powerful lesson. I feel like I look back on that specific scenario all the time when we're like looking at letting go of a rep or helping them move into better things for them.
Yeah.
It's like, that was really cool.
Yeah. It's been hard. I've had a lot of hard conversations because of that, but that's definitely one of the biggest things that I have learned, actually. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Okay. So any other like initial mistakes starting your office that come to your mind?
Oh yeah, I have another one. Training. So when people are struggling with mindset, my initial obvious and like what would I say intuitive solution was a mindset training.
Okay.
Well, people's mindset is usually off because they're not seeing success, and then that's leading them to have a bad mindset, which leads to, again, less success and a worse mindset, and it's a downward spiral. To get them back up, it's rarely a mindset training that gets them their mind right. What gets their mind right is success, and what brings success is tactical training. So it's been interesting. That was a huge learning curve for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you were very
Very mindset heavy. I love mindset trainings because it's like I'm passionate about it. Because I feel like those are what have changed the way I view the world.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're talking about getting somebody out of a rut, rarely is it the mindset training that's going to get them out of the rut. It's action. And so changing from like, I was like 50-50 mindset tactical. I went to like 90-10. It's like 90% tactical and action item trainings. Like, let's go, let's do this. This is how you do this. Here's the tactical aspect of the job, and here's what's going to make you do well. Go do it, and let me help you. Improves their mindset so much more than a mindset training itself.
Yeah, that is a super important realization.
So important.
I didn't even realize how heavy you were training on mindset up there, actually.
I don't know if it was 50-50 actually, but it was a lot, especially when they were doing bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they have their mindset so off. It's like, well, they just got to perform.
Yeah.
So they need to learn how to perform.
Yeah, those mindset trainings are probably the last thing those guys were wanting to hear, right?
Yes.
They're like, oh my gosh. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, I know I need to think more positive, but this job sucks. You know?
Yes, it was a rookie mistake. It's a big rookie mistake. Yeah. So right now, the way that I've scheduled my week, anybody that's starting a market, basically I have Mondays are script reviews. Anybody that's wanting to get their pitch critiqued, Monday. Tuesday, day-to-day, little mindset. Wednesday through Saturday, tactical. So it's like half of training per week on mindset.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Cool. Anything else on the initial mistakes opening your office before we jump into some of the things that you've now started to implement as you've been market owner for a little bit longer now, and you've learned some really cool things and started to implement some cool things?
I'm going to say the last thing, this is kind of maybe a little bit unique, but I always thought that like a lot of shadowing was going to help. So I'd like shadow a ton, but in reality, a lot of times all they needed to see was just like that it was possible to do well in a certain area, because a lot of mindset issues, people tend to blame it on area.
Yes.
And so I just had to go show them this area is good. Let me show you. Boom, boom, boom. Get sets, get closes. And then they're like, okay, I could do it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, it's like, yeah, that's one of my pet peeves is when I run into a rep that is like so fixated on area.
Yeah. It's
like
tough.
Their whole, in their mind, area equals success. Like that is the only formula. It's like finding the good hood, the golden, the honey pots, the places that hasn't been tapped yet. It's like, dude, you are not a true sales rep, right?
Yeah.
Tell me your mindset on area.
Well, it honestly just comes with time. Like I used to have a hard time with this, and sometimes I still do. Like I still get in my head sometimes with this. So it's like a constant thing I need to remind myself of. But my mindset behind it is really the new guys that don't have they're not labeling anything, are always doing the best in whatever area. The area that we tell them to go pick, it works. Like, and I've had a lot of experiences where people are like, oh, I need some help with getting good area. And I'm like, okay, here, look at an area. And I'm like, dude, this is good stuff. And I'm like, it's literally nothing special about it. And I'll tell them, this is money. This is money. This is why. And I tell them why. Boom, 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 boom. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. They go crush it.
Dude, every time. I think of like pest control days, or back when I even had like knocking partners doing windows at driving area. I'm, this is such good.
Yeah. And actually,
oh, dude, look at that house. Oh, man. I'm going to sell that house. I'm going to sell that house. oh man, look how crappy those windows are. For sure, you're gonna set that one.
Yes.
Get everyone hyped up, and I do that for myself too. Actually,
Yeah.
it's like I drive through, I'm like, oh man, this area is so good,
Yes.
and then I just go crush it in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. I just want to touch on that because I feel like all too often guys get in their head, and I'm not saying like the area doesn't have anything to do with your ability to succeed in an area, because I do think there is like a level of like it is one factor, right, that plays
Right.
into success. But I think the fact that a lot of people weigh it a lot heavier than it should be is what really kind of drives me insane. Because really a top rep, they can throw down in whatever area that they get sent into.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to dive in a little bit more now then into some of these really fun things that you've been able to do with your reps to get them like way more dialed in, not just honestly in sales, but I feel like a lot of your reps up there, they've had you said it, I think in the last podcast, they've experienced a true revival, like inside and outside of work. Like what all goes into that they're experiencing that?
Yeah.
I know that's a multifaceted question right there.
It's a good question. So it started, it all started on a very, very dark day, and I might cry a little bit.
Go for it.
I was on the ground in my office crying because in the same week I had about 80% of my team quit. It was terrible.
This is that group that we ended up being glad that they left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was really hard.
I didn't let them go.
Yeah.
They quit. So I had Tegan there still. I had Hayden there, I think. And I don't know if Ty had joined yet. I don't think he had joined. It was right in that time. But it's pretty much, I had just hired Tegan. Hayden was still with me. And if I'm missing somebody else, I'm sorry. But those are the two that I remembered. But I had 3 closers quit within 3 days. And they all came to me and said similar things of like, I really love working with you, but this just isn't working out. Like, I'm just not making what I need to make. And in my mind at that time, I was like, well, you're freaking accountable to make your own money. Like, you eat what you kill. Go and knock doors if you want to make more money. But it was ultimately like they were leaving and there was no changing their mind. So lost my whole team essentially. So when that happened, when I had the last conversation with my last closer that left after the 2 others had already left, I remember I just turned off my light in my office and I just laid on the ground and I just cried. And then Krista knocked on the door.
I remember calling you right after this.
And I was like, well, if I don't answer, she's going to be suspicious. So I'm just going to answer the door. I'm just going to be real. So I opened the door just bawling. And she was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? She just gave me a big hug and she explained what happened. And that moment helped me realize there were kind of two paths that I could take. I wasn't thinking so deeply in this moment. I was honestly thinking I suck. I was thinking I'm a terrible leader. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a bad manager. I can't grow a team. I don't know how to train. Like all the things that you would imagine go through your head at this moment. Like that's for sure where I was at. I was just being bombarded by self-destructive thoughts. And I don't even, it was like all just kind of a blur, but there was a part of me that knew it was what needed to happen. Like this is what needs to happen to go forward. And that's when I got introduced to the collective actually.
Oh, really? It was right.
It was right at that time. It was like a week later. And I went to a little, like, I don't know what you would call it, like an event that Corey put on. And I was like, well, this is kind of cool, like mastering your emotions. I was like, this could be really helpful for me right now. I'm kind of in the dumps. So looked into it, decided to join the collective, which was life-changing. I'll get into that. But I realized like that was a turning point for me, realizing that it was up to me to become the leader that I wanted to become. So I left on this retreat, recognized that I had a lot of really destructive thoughts going through my mind and limiting beliefs and insecurities. that were causing me, that like led to the downfall of my office. So some of those limiting beliefs and like some of those insecurities I already talked about, like the limiting beliefs that I have to be involved.
Yeah.
What was that? It was actually a lack of trust in my ability to teach, right? Because if I really trusted that I could teach somebody to do something well, then I would teach them and let them go.
Right.
But I was holding it close because I was actually really insecure. I was also placing my value on my team's performance. So I was doing that, and I realized I was definitely doing that on a personal level, like in my personal sales as well. I am good if I'm performing. Baloney. That's so dumb. Like when you die, you're not going to care if you got another window sale, if you made another $100,000, who cares? It doesn't matter. But like I was measuring my worth, not just like my success, but my worth on those things.
Right.
And so that's
an important differentiation.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meaning if I'm not doing well, then I'm not good. Like if I'm not producing or my team's not producing, then I'm not a good person. Like I'm not worth
not as worth much.
Not as worthy. So anyway, that was like a big turning point, realizing these things.
And I want to ask you, was it not until you actually went out and went to that first like CG3 retreat that you fully wrapped your head around these thoughts?
Yeah.
Like they were in there, but you didn't actually recognize them.
Yeah.
That's cool. So powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful. It's like I had a similar experience there that I kind of talked about last week. It's like, so another plug for the collective, like 100%. Seriously worth it. Like,
100%.
Join the collective.
Yeah. So I came back, and this leads into what I'm doing now. I came back, and that when I got up in front of my team, I was like, I would like
2 guys or 3 guys.
Well, actually, here's what's cool. In between when they left, Lindsay came. She showed up right in time. And I was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't even ask for this. This is too awesome. I couldn't have even asked. I would feel it's too much to ask for an experience, like a seasoned closer that I don't have to do any training with, that just comes in and closes deals so I can focus on recruiting. Crazy. So that was like one thing that helped me realize this is a fresh start. This is me. This is like new version of me. So Lindsay was there to provide that. I was so grateful for Lindsay showing up when she did. And turns out that we were kind of the same thing for her. Like, so it's cool in that way.
Really cool. So many miracles, dude.
Yes.
So crazy.
Yes. Like God so involved in orchestrating these things. Like James said in our conversation, he's like, it's too poetic. It's too cool. And then some other people came in and started JCC. Some other people started all at that same time. So I came back to a team of like 5 or 6 people, which was cool. And when I came in front of them that day, I remember coming back and I was like, I just love you guys. That's it. Like, I love you guys, and my worth is not in your hands. And that's what it was before. It's a lot of freaking pressure to have my worth in my team's hands.
Dude, that is a ton of pressure.
It's so much weight.
And I think a lot of people have that weight. A lot of managers have that weight.
Yes.
I'd say probably 80 to 90%, if not higher, of sales reps hold that weight on themselves.
Yes, and it hurts.
And that is why, like, you have such hard, like, lows.
Yes.
Is because you get in a slump in your sales and you're all of a sudden diving down, like, mentally. You feel like you're not worth as much. It's like, no. It's like you are worth so much.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about the sales? Like, great. Separate those things and realize that.
Yeah.
So, sorry to cut you off.
Yes. No, it's so good. And now that I'm having this conversation, also, that's a lot of weight on them. Like, when I'm asking them to do something, they have to feel that I'm like desperate for them to do it. And they're like, this is kind of weird. Like, why is he so desperate for me to do this?
Yeah. The whole law of attraction thing. I'm like, sure they could feel that.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't actually care. I love you. I want you to do it because this is such an awesome opportunity and I would love for you to take advantage of it, but I love you. And so in one word, if to answer what has changed, it's love. Really, that's what it is. And like, I've gained a perspective on, I've been able to like separate those a little bit better, worth and performance.
I just was having a thought. It's actually kind of interesting because when me and you talked the other day, just like on when I was kind of telling you about my experience in the collective, I talked to like one of my big takeaways was love. Just like have so much more love, or even charity is probably the better word for it. Like, truly, I feel like I'm able to see people more like Christ sees people. Yeah. Like Heavenly Father sees them for their worth as just a being, a human being, not as a sales rep, not as a whatever they are, not as whatever they dress like, not as how much money they make. It's like, no, like you are awesome. You are worth so much, like in the sight of God. And like that just changes the way that you behave and the way that you perceive everything. And that seems, we didn't talk about that when we were sitting in the car the other day. That's cool that was like also kind of one of your big takeaways. And that's ultimately what changed, is like your perception of other people and your ability to just love them and put so much weight on them.
Yeah. And I want to disclaimer, it's kind of obvious. I'm not perfect at this. Like, it's not like I always am just like, wow, I just have such I see people exactly how God sees them, and like, I just love them all the time. No, I definitely have moments where I'm like, why are you not freaking working? Like, come on, dude. But so like, I have moments where I slip into 100%. Into like a lower level of thinking and relationship, and it becomes more management rather than leadership. But overall, that's what changed. And so now when somebody was struggling, before it was, oh my gosh, why are you not working? And it would be texting, where are you at? I had texted that to my rep sometimes, like, where are you at? I don't see you on the doors. Terrible. It's a terrible way to respond. Instead, it's reaching out. Hey, I noticed you were not, like, call. Hey, I noticed you were on the doors. Are you doing okay? Genuinely, like, I care. And then they open up, and so a big thing that I've shifted to is like, I create a space where people come into my office and they feel like they can take off their mask. By that, I mean, we say that in the collective, taking off your mask is what you have on the surface level of like,
what are you displaying to everyone else?
Yes, it's what are you displaying to somebody, but it's covering something else, like the truth. I'm able to create a space for somebody to just be real and take that mask off. And once we're able to identify what's really going on, we're able to make progress in those real ways that automatically fix the problems.
That's so huge. I literally last night I was at my mother-in-law's birthday dinner, and I was kind of telling some of my family a little bit about the collective. I was talking about how we recognize what our masks were, and we were really able to take them off and recognize what's behind those masks. And my aunt asked me, it's like, so how does he get people to actually take off their masks? I'm like, that's a good question. It's like, that's a good question. How does he get people, like, how did he do that? 35 people in there. How did he do that?
I don't know.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm trying to think back. I'm like, well, number one, like, I guess he created a safe container, like a really safe spot. Yeah. Everyone felt like this is zero judgment zone, no recruiting, no ulterior motives. Like, we're all here just to like love and level up and help each other out.
And anything that happens here stays here.
Yeah.
Like, we won't tell anyone else about what you share.
So I imagine that's kind of similar, but that's actually my question, because I think what we're talking about right now, this is the main thing I was really wanting to dig out of you, because I feel like just like seeing through the lines and from afar, recognizing like your reps and their interactions and their relationship with you, this is it. It's like them taking off their masks with you. How do you do that for your reps? Exactly. How do you create that safe space and get them to open up? Because without them opening up, true progress doesn't happen. Yeah. It's a hard question.
That is a hard question. You have to ask them. No, because it's not like I don't have like a step-by-step mean to get them to open up like this. It's not.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the number one is having like genuine love for them. They know that.
Yeah, they know that.
They know that. Yeah. They can feel it, and they will open up if you express that, and expressing it, not just having it, but like expressing it to them. And then the second is I think that in the environment actually does matter, like, for sure. So I have my own little office, so making a space that's like, it's private. And then when they come in, I am very, very slow to offer solutions during one-on-ones. I ask questions and I listen actively and I ask more questions so we can kind of uncover stuff. And when I see that I've like had enough experience. That's why you need to go to the collective to do this, really.
Yeah.
But I've had enough experience seeing somebody say something. I'm like, that's a mask. That's not real. That's not. So I'm able to I tell them stuff like, I don't think that's the real. I don't think that's the core. And I'll say, people listening, they're going to be like, oh, this is his method. So
It's all genuine still.
It's all genuine.
Yeah.
It's not a tactic.
Yeah.
It's just, this is how I get them know about. I usually will say something along the lines, so you don't have to share anything you don't want to, but know that I'm here. Like and if I don't know you, then what does Corey say?
Corey's like,
If I don't,
if they don't know you, can't love you. If I can't love you,
how can I help you?
how can I help you? Yeah.
I tell them that. Yes.
Something like that.
I say that. Actually, that's
Shoot.
usually what I say.
I don't know if we're botching that.
Whatever. But it's something I say, like, if I don't know what's going on, then I'll have a hard time really loving you. And if I don't really love you, I'm going to have a hard time helping you. And then they'll be like, okay. And then they just tell me something. I'm like, awesome. Like, I love you more now. I do. And then we can work on whatever they're struggling with. That's preventing them from doing well on the doors. Rarely is it about the doors. It's usually, I'm dealing with this at home, or I'm just feeling bogged down by this emotion. That's my other thing, is I've learned how to use the emotion wheel when somebody's not doing well, pull it out, and I teach them how to identify their emotions. What are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? And then how are we going to respond?
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? Because right now I help them see that they are responding. Their actions are reactions to their emotions.
Give me a real life example that you've had with a rep, walking them through an emotion wheel. They came into your office, dude, just really struggling. I'm not getting the sales right now, or whatever happened.
Yeah.
How that conversation went.
It was actually cool. I had one of my reps come in kind of in a little bit of a slump. I'm like, let's do this. Let's learn about the emotion wheel. Taught him, went through it, asked him to share. And I always put on music too. It's like
Zen mode.
Yeah, Zen mode music on my computer, just so it feels like
Nice.
I'm like, it just feels good. It's like a therapy session. Yes, I've had they often do call me their therapist. I'm like, no, I'm not your therapist. I'm your friend. But I remember a specific scenario. One of my reps went through it, and when we started sharing, he just started crying. And he's like, I'm feeling entitled because I've been working so hard and I feel like I deserve the success. So I feel entitled. That's preventing me from letting go of the outcome and like letting things happen the way they need to, because I'm just harboring this feeling, and like I feel resentment against God, and like these things that he was like, I had no idea I was feeling those things, but it allowed him to, it gave him the place to express what he was feeling, and what was actually like he was harboring these negative feelings against the circumstances and against God, maybe against himself a little bit. And once he let them go and said, what do I have control of and how should I respond? Boom, just took off. I think he had like his best month the next month.
That's so cool.
But I'm like, I don't know if he would have worked through that. Probably would have, but like that quickly, I don't know. So I feel grateful for knowing how to walk people through the emotion wheel as well. Well, it's been really,
Yeah, I feel like I saw that from the outside perspective. Oh, that's really cool. That's like a really cool, like tactical thing that you can implement. And that's what I thought I was going to learn at the collective. We didn't even talk about the emotion wheel.
Really?
We didn't even talk about that. I got way more out of it.
That's awesome.
But we have the emotion wheel now, and learning that stuff. But yeah, that is cool. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce, I think.
I think it is.
I think that is the secret sauce, is getting your reps to trust you, like truly loving them, getting them to take off their masks so you can love them, know them, love them, and then help them.
Yeah.
On a real root cause level.
Yeah. And as you said that, I have one last thing. There's a book called The Core for Leadership.
That's a good one.
And I read that. Thank you, Andrew, for referring, like
Dude, Andrew's
I'm
actually
recommending-
referred all of our
dude.
best books to us. All
Yeah.
the Patrick Lencioni books.
Yes. Yes.
Shout out to Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew. Seriously. He's like, when I was struggling as a leader, I would always call Andrew. What do? He's very wise. But this is important. So, yeah, there are like 4 pieces that are really important to be a good leader and have influence. And the 4 pieces, it's so you have to be high in action, skill, character, and vision. And so yes, connecting with the people is so good. But if they don't see that you're high in skill, they won't trust a lot of the tactical stuff you have.
Right.
And if you're not showing them that, then you need to have the person that is showing that also the one training them.
Right.
That's what I'm kind of doing right now with Tegan.
Yeah, that is.
I've replaced myself in like most of my day-to-day trainings so that I can focus on leaning into actually this stuff, the connecting with reps in one-on-ones, because that's what I love. But so Tegan he has to be out on the doors, self-genning, showing them what's up, which he's been doing awesome. I think in the past 3 weeks, he's got 3 self-gens.
Yeah, freaking Tegan.
And closed like 350 with 3 self-gens. I'm like, bro,
That's awesome.
it's awesome.
All you other closers out there, get on the doors.
Yes,
Come on. What's going on?
Anyway, so he's high in skill, but also action. So that's action, both of those. And then vision and character. They need to feel that you're like a good person. You do what you say you're going to do, and you're just like ethical. And vision, you have a very like powerful future. Like you're able to dictate that and see the future and vision cast. So those kind of all tie it together, not just being, and that's also what kind of changed me from just mindset to all the other things. That was kind of confusing, but that makes sense, right?
No, yeah. Vision casting, I feel like, is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about that. It's like, that is so important to have a rep come in, really catch the vision.
Yeah.
That is now like one of our KPIs, right? As marketers. How many of your reps or what percentage of your reps have truly caught the vision, right?
Yep.
They see where they're going. They know what it takes to get there, and they have that clear path.
Yeah.
And they're dedicated to do whatever it takes to get there.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that is probably a wrap.
I think so too.
Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having. I think I want to end all of my podcasts now with just a real hug. No claps.
No taps.
No taps. What the freak? That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
bro.
Look, I love you too.
That's a true hug.
That's a true hug.